Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome, everyone, to a beautiful day. Tuesday. Tuesday. What are we talking about today? The art of prayer. Ask and you shall receive. Well, exactly who are you asking? So the word ask, I struggle to say that word sometimes. I choose inquire or request. But to ask means you are looking outside. Think about that for a moment. Ask. When you're asking for something, you're seeking it from the outside. So why do we say it then? Why do we say it when we talk about prayer? Because we've been directed to look outside, when in actuality, as soon as you get the image of what it is you want to create, you have prayed. There's no one to ask but the self. So when you say, "Oh, I would like that," may I? When you put yourself in that position to say, "May I?" then there is the opportunity for the answer, no. No. You don't have to be given anything. But when you decide, "Oh, this is what I'm creating," then all the necessary components show themselves for you to take full advantage of. So you can put together the thing that you see in your mind because it is already there. So I think there's this thing where we've been told you have to ask for permission. If you have to ask for permission, you can also be told no. So why then, when we look at prayer, prayer is not something that, is it Philippians 4, verse 6 and 7? Present your request to God. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition. What is a petition? When you sign a petition. So what is prayer then? Prayer is you being aware of something right now. Desirable or undesirable, you're aware of it. And you are aware of it enough to say, "Oh, this will or will not do." And based upon the choice, you've prayed. You have prayed. You have projected your image. You have projected the thing you are creating. So how do we get around that? Because I'm sure there's feelings of, what do you mean? What do you mean that I don't have to ask anybody? What do you mean I don't have to ask God? Well, here's the question. How does God know what you want? You have to know what you want so you can bring forth the request. So it always starts with you knowing what it is that you want to do. That is prayer. That is prayer. What is it that you would like to do? As soon as you see it, you've prayed. But we're taught, "Heavenly Father, I come before you today. I beseech you, thy will be done, Lord." Huh? Now, answer this question, if you will. Ponder it at least. We're told we have free will. What is will? Your intention, your ability to choose. What do you intend to happen? So if you have the ability to use your free will and to exercise it? Why is it that someone else's free will can trump your own? Not just someone else, but we tend to say, well, God willing. God willing. But what if God does not will? Where does that leave you? It leaves you at the mercy of someone. So prayer today, the art of prayer, you must know what it is that you are wanting to create. Because then you project it outward. You use the law of gender and you project it from your mind into where we are right now. Into where we are right now. How many times have I heard, well, it must not have been God's will. That's why I didn't get it. It must not have been God's will. But God gave you free will. God gave you free will. That's what I've always been told. So something isn't making sense. If you were given free will, then why is it still left up to God to say yes or no? You've been given free will to choose. This is why when you hear the scripture, when you pray and you believe that you have received it, it is yours. So then what is prayer? Prayer is knowing what it is that you are wanting to create. That's why one must be bold with their prayers. Think about this for a moment. Small children, when they want candy, can I please have some candy? Please, please, can I have some candy? And they hope and wish that you say, sure. That's what it is. They know they want the candy. You know they want the candy. But they still have that, maybe she's going to say no. When you know what it is you want to create, the only person to deny it or to say no is you. That is the power that you hold by way of law. Can't force it. That's why you've got to know. You've got to know. But that is also, if you think about it, when you hear the word pray, it does something. It makes you feel a particular way. Examine that the next time the word comes out of your mouth or you hear it somewhere. I got to pray about it. You got to pray about it. I'm not saying to you today that we don't pray. I'm telling you that we do. Just not in the way that we've been conditioned to do it. When my son used to be in school back in the day and he came to me and says, Mom, why do I have to ask permission to go to the bathroom? I said, what do you mean you have to ask? He said, that's what my teacher said I have to do. So I said to him, tell your teacher where you're going, because if anything happens, she knows where to find you. I said, you tell her where you're going so that she knows where you are. If something happens, if they got to evacuate the building, you are accounted for. I say, you tell. So that's what he would do. Oh, I'm going to the bathroom. I didn't give you permission. He would reply, but only I know when my bladder is full. That did not go over well. It did not go over well. So you see, there's something about that having to ask for permission to plead, to supplicate, to beg, to petition. You don't have to beg anyone. You don't have to beg anyone. Look at the position it puts you in when you beg. We're usually where when we beg? On our knees. You're not designed to beg. You are designed to command those things that you say you are creating. You are designed to say, let there be light, and there was. That is your design. That is what sovereignty is. That is what sovereignty is. So today, when you pray, you notice how they're spelled differently, but they sound the same? P-R-E-Y. There's a predator. P-R-A-Y. You're begging, you're asking. There's always somebody above somebody else. Well, it doesn't matter which word you choose. Whether you are praying upon someone or you're praying to someone. This is, oh, Queen Red Pill, yes. One makes you feel like you have no power. And the other gives you your power. When you speak to yourself, when you look at yourself in the mirror, and you say, what kind of life am I creating here? What kind of life am I creating? What kind of life do I want? That makes you go to the very depths of your being and you think about who and what you are and what you want to become. There aren't any limitations there. But if you look in that mirror and you say, but what if God has other plans for me? What if I don't do what my mother says? What if I don't do what my father says? Listen, you can always take a suggestion. When you mull it over and you deem it fit for consumption, then you can do it. But at the end of the day, the buck stops with you. And that's a very beautiful place to be. Listen, the only times you get on your knees is if you choose to be there. If you know what I'm saying. I digress. But that's not the design. You're not meant to be on your knees. You're not meant to grovel. You're not meant to beg. You are meant to stand firm. You're meant to stand up tall with a stiff spine and say, I am. Even if your knees shake a little bit when you say it, that's all right. Because when you begin to see that you become what you say you are, then your knees stop quivering. And you have no choice but to see it. You're the one declaring it and commanding it to be so, so you have to see it. That's what it is. We spoke about water into wine last night. When you say, this is who I am, you're praying. It looks like a request because it's a projection. You're pushing it from the inside out. You are projecting that image from inside of you to the outside. You're either drawing it, or you're preparing it, or you're molding and shaping it if you're doing clay, or you're planting it if you're a gardener. But you are the one. You. And you must be bold. You have to be bold to stand. You have to have the audacity to stand. You must. It's part of the process. Boldness and courage. That's who you are. You're not a weakling. So when you declare who it is you say you are, where are you drawing your confidence from? Pray down within you. Feel it. Something wells up in your chest. Something wells up in your chest. Pay attention and you'll feel it. Sometimes you call it a swell of pride. A burst of inspiration. You realize how it always starts within you. This is law, as within, so without. It is always you. So the art of prayer is knowing what it is that you want. And it always shows up. And that's what we spoke about last night with water into wine. They were at the wedding. And Mary was like, Jesus, we are out of wine. It was right there, right in front of them, what the problem was. Empty wine jugs. So what's the solution? Jesus said, fill it up with water. He didn't stammer. He didn't stutter. He said, fill them up with water. Because to him, water was wine. He saw what it is. Notice, Mary didn't say, Jesus, we're out of wine. What are we going to do? She simply said, we are out of wine. And pretty much was like, yes, mother. She didn't ask. She said. Things present themselves always now. So the thing you're facing now, is it now? Well, then deal with it now. Because that is the prayer. As soon as you acknowledge it, that's the prayer. That's the prayer. And how are you projecting that out? Are you projecting it out of you by way of complaining? Or are you projecting it out of you by way of let there be? You notice we can be bold when somebody says something off color and you go, I got time today. Well, we boldly say that. But when it comes to what we want to create, I don't know. Maybe. What if? If you can be bold in one area, you can be bold in all areas. Because it is not the situation that determines your boldness. The situation reflects your boldness. Your prayer is you being aware of something. It is polarity. Where are you now and what are you doing now? That is the prayer. You have to acknowledge where you are and what you're doing. Always. This is where it always comes back to. It doesn't matter how far you think you want to go. You're the first step. You are. You're going to have to get used to that part. You see, it's always going to be that perspective. It's you. And that's a very good thing. It is you. That is a very good thing that it is you. Because you and I both know that some people are unreliable. You want to put you in somebody else's hands? Or do you want to remain in your own hands because you can rely upon you? You know when you say, let there be light, there has to be. But if you run down the street and say to George, George, I really need some light, you're going to have to rely on George and if George is available or not. The moment you say, let there be, that is prayer. It is the awareness of what is going on around you right now. As soon as you acknowledge it, that is prayer. That's prayer. Let's take a moment, shall we? Welcome everyone to the space. Lilith, hello. Jeff, darling. Meep. I see you here on Twitter. How y'all's be doing? I trust you are well. Remember tonight, 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will hit the ball. And you know you want to be there for that. Fan base, who's here? Hello, Tiffany, darling. Joyce. Flo smiles. Miss McQueen. Miss Sunflower, that's what you are today. Yolanda, Zola, I see you all. Thank you for being here, spending time with me today. It's good to see you all. We've got Indy on Facebook. We have Anot. Hello, Sherelle. Cyber. Queen Red Pill. Sugar Visions. 2 places at once. Omnipresent. Cyber. I gotta say your name twice. David, Shea Butter, and the Better Man. Yes, it is good to see you all on this lovely Tuesday. It's very good to see you. If you notice the law of rhythm at work, sunrise this morning will be 6:15 a.m. Do you notice something? Are you paying attention to it? The rhythm? It takes a little bit longer for the sun. Just a little. It's so subtle, isn't it? But we're moving through the phase. The yang phase, yin and yang. Or in the West, they say yin and yang. But no, it's yin, yang. Chinese. And so you notice it's moving. Watch it and you'll see. If you can pick up the subtlety there, where else can you pick it up in your life? Can you see the changes that you are going through in your life? Do you see the distance? Are you seeing the things you have? I'm putting pray in bunny ears, parentheses. Do you see the things you have prayed for? Do you see them? Are you seeing them? Did you watch yourself go from a little bit shy to having more confidence? Are you seeing it? Look for it. Because then you begin to see your answered prayer. You begin to see what it is you said that you were creating. Had a beautiful message this morning. I won't say your name, but confidence. We practice confidence. So look back in your immediate vicinity. Have you gained more confidence? I'm sure you have. When you see that your quote-unquote prayers have been answered, it doesn't boost your ego. It says, look at what you are capable of doing. You did that there. Look, you did it here. You did it over there too. And look where else you did it. All of your prayers are being answered. But who's answering them? The one doing it. The one doing it. You're the one who gets up every day and you practice being confident. You do. You practice your boldness. Every opportunity that you have been presented with, you boldly assess it and you say, this is of a benefit, or no, it is not. This is worth my effort. This is not. This is valuable. This is not. You boldly choose after you assess the situation. Whereas before, I don't know what to do. What if I'm wrong? Oh Lord, I would love some more confidence. As soon as you recognize that you did not have confidence, remember, Jesus, we are out of wine. As soon as you recognize it right there in front of you, where are you now? And what would you prefer to be? And you say, well, I don't have confidence here. So what do I need to behave like? And you start behaving like it right now, because that's what you're doing, isn't it? You're right there right now. So you prayed and then it was answered. You said, I don't have confidence. And then you started to behave confidently. A little tentative at first, like we all do. But then you became more bold with it. So was the prayer not answered? So was the prayer not answered? That's exactly it. The prayer is always answered. The better man said he gained his confidence by visualizing being bold and courageous, which means he had to see himself in situations. So when he saw himself in situations, he knew how to behave. Remember, the potter at the wheel. You see it in your mind. You're the potter. You see that vase. Semantics. You see the mug. You see the bowl. But then you make it. Then you make it. The art of prayer. If you want to make sure that your prayers have been answered, look back at your life. Look for the rhythm there. Do you see the pattern? Do you see the difference from how you used to be to what you are now? Can you see it? If you see it, well then, oh look, my prayer has been answered. Your prayers are always being answered the moment you recognize that there's no more wine. From, the story of the wedding feast, the moment you recognize that there's something there right in front of you, you deal with it right there, right then. Think about this for a moment. What do we normally do? We normally repeat the same behavior based upon the situation. Autopilot. Well, I behaved like this because I had that same situation, so I'm going to behave like this again. Now, that's a good thing if you decided to make that change. But if you pay attention, you'll notice we live by way of memory. So the way you behaved back then, if you come across a similar situation, if you did not consciously say, hey, that's not very good behavior for this situation, I'm going to change the way I behave. Because why? When you say, why do I keep doing this? Because you're bringing forward an old behavior and trying to apply it to a new situation. Well, it's not a new situation, or else you wouldn't be trying to use the old behavior. Old behavior, old situation. So that's the prayer. When you look at it and you go, ooh, that behavior will not do. You've prayed. And you said, let there be a new behavior. And you start doing the new behavior, then the prayer has been answered. You are always praying and answering your prayer The prayer is the cause. The effect is the experience. You are always praying. Always. So be bold. Be bold. And if you're going to look back in your life, remember, we're not looking back to beat ourselves up and go, oh my God, look at how many mistakes I've made. That's not what you're doing. When you look back, you understand, you are looking back to see, oh snap, I don't do that thing anymore. Remember when? See, your prayer has been answered. It is always answered. You are always answering your prayers. Queen Red Pill. Queen Red Pill says, hey, what's up with that like button? Is it broken? Save me, Jesus. Prayer is the law of gender. You are projecting the image of the thing you say that is required. Let there be light. Well, then he must have recognized that it was darkness. How else would he know he needed light? If he did not first acknowledge the darkness. You must always be honest with yourself and where you are at. What am I doing here? What is this behavior? And as soon as you see it, that will or will not do, you decide. And then you act accordingly, because now you have answered the prayer. Prayer is the acknowledgement of where you are and what you are doing. And now you answer the prayer by doing. So there's nothing on the outside of you. You are creating the things on the outside. Everybody's creating the things on the outside. That's how come we come across so many things. Because everybody is busy creating. Because that's what we do. We're just a bunch of creators. And that's why you come across so many situations that we interact with. We're running parallel to. And when you know that part, when you know that law of gender is always at work and we're always projecting into the womb of creation to get an experience back, now you become cautious, don't you? Not scared. You become cautious, because now when you examine the projection before you put it out, what are you going to ask yourself? You're going to ask yourself, ooh, okay, I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to put this out there. What's going to come back? You know what's going to come back. But once it goes out there, other people will be interacting with it. It will cause them to do something, just like other people's things cause us to do something. So if we paid attention to that, then we create more optimally. Listen, I'm living in a glass house. Right? That's what we all do. This is how we all live. We're always projecting. And so sometimes it's helpful to take stock of what we're projecting outward. Because that projection now becomes a cause, creating an effect, which creates another cause, and another effect, and another cause. You see, it is always ongoing. It's a ripple in the pond. It helps us when we know that to be wise. That's what it does. Think about it. We wouldn't say certain things. We wouldn't act in certain ways. Always with that prayer. Do you, boo-boo? Do you? I get I'm reading things here in the chat. But you understand, the minute you become aware of what it is that you are doing, you've prayed. It happens so quickly. It happens very quickly. That's why you've got to be bold when you do it. Be bold when you pray. Why be bold? How else is there to be? There is no other way to be other than bold. You're not bold? Well, the good news is this. You only become better at what you practice. Now, if that does not make you feel better, I don't know what will. What is it telling you? The more you practice, the better you get at the thing you practice. Yes, and that practice, you see, you're not just practicing the thing. Something happens to you as you practice. Something happens to you when you practice. It's like a whetstone when you sharpen knives. There's a hole in the bucket. There, Liza, there, Liza. That was the whetstone. He had a hole in the bucket, couldn't fill up the bucket to wet the stone. Anyway, I digress. When you practice, you are also being sharpened. Cause and effect, eh? You're always being sharpened when you practice. So choose wisely what you will practice, because that's what you're going to be awesome at doing. So it doesn't matter good, bad, or indifferent what you practice. That's up to you. So you must assess. How do you know what to practice? Well, that depends. Are you out of wine? Where are you now and what are you doing? That is what you're doing. You acknowledge where you are at, because that is the prayer. The moment you see where you're at and you deem it either desirable or undesirable, you've prayed. And now you say, well, where I want to be and what do I want to be doing? And you start doing those actions, you have answered the prayer. Pay attention to it for a moment. You can always tell a tenant versus a homeowner. How? What is the condition of the property? It doesn't matter what kind of neighborhood you live in. There's a difference between the attitude of an owner than there is of a tenant. If you look, you'll see it. More often than not, you'll always be able to tell who the owner is, because the property is tidy. The property is tidy. Why is that? Why do they have such a different mentality? Well, are both people not paying? One's paying rent, one's paying mortgage. Both people live in houses. So what is the difference? Somebody else will take care of it. It's somebody else's problem. Oh, that's the difference. When we think it's on somebody else, when we think that it is on somebody else, that's where we have a problem. See, I learned at a very young age, it is irrelevant where one lives. It is irrelevant. What matters is, how do you treat the things that you have? How do you treat them? Because the house belongs to someone else, are you not living there? Begin to take responsibility for who and what you are and your behavior. Totally. But then we say, but I want to be a homeowner. And then you take the same mentality of, oh, it's somebody else's responsibility with you. When in actuality, it is the mind always that goes with you, because it's you. So look at how you're behaving. Just simply look at how you are behaving. And then you acknowledge it. There's no judgment, just look at it. Is this what I want to be? Is this who I want to be? You get in your car and it's a mess. You got to move things to sit down to drive. Come now. Look at the behavior. Again, there isn't a judgment. It's just a matter of, where are you now? What are you doing? It is the prayer. Because we want to create things in our lives, right? Well, the thing that you are creating, you have to raise your level now. There's a difference between being the boss and being the employee. So you want to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to behave and think differently. I really want my own business. Okay, so you've prayed. Because you don't want to be an employee anymore. Now what? How does an entrepreneur behave? Well, they show up, they're consistent, they are persistent, they're curious, they're eager to learn, easily taught. They have to be. Whereas an employee, you just show up. You just show up and do what you do. You just do what you're told. No thinking involved, really. So when you pray, you are acknowledging where you're at and what you're doing, so that you can decide where you're going and who you want to be. But then you must remember, you now have to, that's why I tell you, right? You might pray, but you change. You cannot possibly remain the same. The prayer changes you. The minute you acknowledge where you are and then choose where you want to be, you have to change. You have to change. Growth is involved in there. You can't be an entrepreneur with the mind of an employee, because shit won't get done. Sorry, there might be small ears. So look at what happens between the prayer and the answering of the prayer. You change. You change. What changes about you? Your behavior, for one. The way you think changes. This is what it is. I'd like to be more kind. Oh, okay, that's your prayer? Well, then answer the prayer. Where are you not being kind? Are you not being kind with your words? Are you not being kind in your thoughts? You see, you have to change. You have to change. And change is good. It's nothing to be afraid of. You are the one initiating the change. As soon as you pray, you have decided that you're going to change. Now you just got to follow through with it by doing the new action. This is why they tell you you can't put new wine in old wineskins. You're going to bust that stuff wide open. And look, oh, there goes all that good wine. Because you want to remain the same with a new position? Come now. So remember, when you pray, prayer is the acknowledgement of where you are right now and what it is that you're doing. That is what prayer is. Because you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? I don't want to do that. Well, you see, you've just prayed because you clearly now defined what it is you don't want to do. Well, what behavior would you like to do? Start doing that behavior and you have answered the prayer. But in the answering of the prayer, you become a new man. You change. Why? Because as within, so without. This is the law of correspondence. It's the law of correspondence. That prayer now has molded and shaped you into the thing you say you are. That's why when you say, I am that, I am, you had to become it when you prayed. You have to become it. So this morning, what is it that you are praying for? That's an acknowledgement of where you are at right now. So then look at it. It is the law of polarity. Where are you now and what are you doing? Because the pendulum has to move. Because everything moves. That is the law of vibration. Nothing stands still. Oh, it's moving so fast that it looks like it's still, and it's moving really slow. And it looks like it's not moving at all, but it is moving. So don't be deceived. That's why you know you have to change. Then you pray. You are becoming it. Because that's what you said you were. You said, I am. So if you say I am, well then you have to have the evidence. What is the evidence? The thought and the action must match. You say I am bold, well then you have to walk into that room with a firm footstep and a stiff back. Well, not stiff as in rigid, but stiff as in sure of yourself. You can't slink your way in and hide in the corner because you're saying I am confident. And the beautiful thing about the law is this: you cannot be made a liar of. You can't say I am confident and then no. Because remember, you change in between from to. You change in that space. You change in that space. When you recognize that it is you who changes, you'll stop trying to change other people. Oh Lord, let them be good to me. Let them be kind to me, Lord. What? What do you mean let them be kind to you? You be kind. That's who you have control over. Because you'll recognize something. You'll recognize this. In that space of you becoming, you will begin to recognize who is like-minded. And then you end up not being around people because there's 8 billion of us. We're going to run parallel, but you're going to recognize that you are not interacting with things just because you have time. You're a changed person. You don't throw your dog in every fight. Nah, you now know how to assess a situation and choose, that's beneficial, or not today, devil, not today. You begin to do that. right? I'm missing. Oh Lord, look at these. Um, okay, wait. You see, we spoke about water into wine last night, that Bible story. So Iapo says, I hope you're not going through withdrawals, right? What that was one of the most beautiful stories I had learned as a child, turning water into wine. Back when I was in school and got called on to answer a question, even if guessing, I would give my answer boldly. If I was wrong, I was just wrong. But when I was right, no one suspected I guessed. But of course, be bold. You have to be bold. It takes your boldness and your courage. Understand, even if you are afraid, the minute you say, you know what? I might be a little scared, but it's okay. I still want to do that thing. You might be scared to do it, but the minute you acknowledge that you are afraid to do it, what did you do? You have just done courage. No. Yes, you have. You looked at where you were and you're like, oh man, I'm scared to do that. But I want to be over there. And so what do? You start by doing one little thing that points you in the direction of where you said you wanted to be. That took courage. You might have shaken a little bit. Who cares if you shook a little bit? Look, you could shake a lot. You can shake a lot. But that does not diminish the fact that you had to courageously shake. Oh, yeah, you did that. You went from where you were to where you wanted to be. And in that space, you changed. You changed your attitude. You changed your behavior. You changed your outlook. And what did you possibly gain? Well, your prayer was answered, for one. And two, you gained confidence. Three, you're bold. Four, you're courageous. Need I say more? But I will. Anyway, Iapo says, personally, I treat everything in my care as if I own it. But of course, but that's the thing. You do own it. You own your existence. You own your existence. You own your existence. Which means you decide. And that is nothing to be afraid of. You should be throwing confetti. Why? Because now you're self-reliant. You can depend on you. You know what it takes to get you out of bed in the morning. You're self-reliant. Yes. We have this saying in Barbados, huh? Your basket and hoe. It's your basket and it is your hoe. My father had a Ford Escort back in the day, and it was his basket and his hoe. He always said that to me. Your basket, because it carries things in it for you, and it's your hoe, oh God, because you use it to work. So you treat it as the valuable thing it is. That's why your life is your basket and hoe. It is the thing that you carry your beautiful experiences in, and it is the thing that you mold and shape to create the ideal experiences that you want to carry. So you treat your life in such a way. Somebody said the other day, but Angela, isn't it vain? Isn't it vain that I want to look pretty? That I want to make sure my hair is done? And she's not talking about, she's a natural girl, beautiful girl. But she struggles with that. And she says, but why? I feel so, like sometimes I just don't even want to get out of bed, and because I feel so guilty for just being. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, baby, what? And I heard the words as they came out of my mouth. I said to her, well, didn't God give you your body? She's like, yeah. I said, so when you bathe that body and feed that body and comb your hair and brush your teeth, are you not saying to God, thank you for the body you gave me? That's what you're doing. When you get up and you bathe and you brush your teeth and you eat and you move your body well, you are saying thank you to your body. That's what you're doing. Vanity would be if now, tread carefully, Angela. Tread carefully now. If these are your toes, I apologize. If you get up in the morning and you look in that mirror and you say, oh my God, my cheeks could be higher, my lips could be fuller, what are you telling God? I know you're perfect, but you messed up here. Wait, what? No. You better look in that mirror. You find one thing. Just one. And if you say, I can't, you're not looking hard enough. Look for one thing that you deem to be beautiful. And I'm sure as you go through that exercise and you look for things that are beautiful about you, you're going to hear somebody say, sure it is, your nose is too big. Let me tell you something. My grandfather was a very handsome man, but that nose, Lord, everybody in that family has that nose. That is the signature. That's how you know you came out of his line, that nose. But it added to his handsomeness. Yes, I have that nose too. Praise be to Jesus, I have that nose. It is as wide as my smile. Yes, and you know what? That's my nose. It is mine. And when I smile, it gets wider, so I smile all the more. Find one thing. Because what are you doing? When you look in the mirror and you say, oh, you know what? I like that about me. You just prayed. How? Because perhaps you went through life being insulted, but you found one thing that you appreciated about yourself. You had to have a different attitude to see it. So you prayed. You said, I want to see something. I want to see what's beautiful about me. You prayed. And when you see it, the prayer has been answered. When we think prayer has to do with, Lord, can I have a mansion on the hill? Lord, can I have a Bugatti? We think that's prayer. Well, sure it is. But you have to take stock of these things as well. So when you take ownership of your life and your reality that you create, everything matters to you because you're the one bringing it about. And you have to bring it about boldly. So when you gaze back and you say, oh, look at how far I have come. Hallelujah. I remember when. And you feel good about yourself because you know what you're capable of doing. That is prayer. That is prayer. Ruby, hello, beautiful. Yes, and Queen Red Pill says she will solidify in her mind. You'll only become better at the thing you practice. But that's the point. This is why you know you are always designed for success. Because the more you practice, the better you get. I'm going to say it again, and it will take a new meaning for you. The more you practice, the better you get. The more you practice, the better you get. The exercise takes on a whole new meaning that you're doing. You begin to flow through the exercise. Why? Because you are practicing. The exercise remains the same. You are practicing. You are using the exercise like a whetstone to sharpen you. That is prayer. The minute you say, you know what, I want to change this behavior. So you start practicing the new one. You change. The prayer has been answered. Cyber says you're going to have to re-listen to the narration. Prayer, the art of believing. Well, of course, Neville Goddard, right? There you have it. I am healthy. I am. So if you say I am healthy, something happens to you. You say, Lord, my knees, my hip. You prayed. because you want them to be better. You have acknowledged where you are. You want them to be better. And you will find you begin to move better. You begin to make better choices in your movement. All because you said, you prayed. Ooh, my hip. As I told you the other day, you want to raise your vibration, raise your legs, dance, move your body. It just happens naturally. All things are possible. Yes, Queen Red Pill. I love the support going on between Queen Red Pill and Miss Ruby. It is beautiful. Yes, the better man. I know you hear me. I know you hear me. But this is it today. Remember, prayer is you acknowledging where you are right now. Because in order for the phrase, let there be light, in order for that phrase to be here, darkness was acknowledged. How do you know what you want if you refuse to acknowledge where you are? There is no shame. We have to abandon shame. When I say abandon shame, I mean the judgment of, oh my God, they're totally going to laugh at me. I'm like such a loser. Why am I still in this position? That. You better scrape that off the bottom of your shoe today. Because it will keep you stuck. When you acknowledge where you are, there is no shame in acknowledging where you are. Because without the acknowledgement of where you are, how do you then determine where it is? If you don't say you're at home, how are you going to get to the mall? You have to give a destination based upon what? Where you are now. This is how you determine what change is required. What behavior is required by acknowledging the behavior you're currently doing. But you want to sit there and say, oh, but they're going to judge me. No, you're judging you. It is irrelevant somebody else's opinion of you because that opinion does not mold and shape you. You mold and shape you. Remember always the law of correspondence. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. When somebody has the audacity to insult you and to belittle and berate you, that is not about you. It's coming out of them. It's not about you. They cannot insult you. They can't insult you. They cannot insult you. Why not? Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The stuff that is coming out of their mouth has already been siphoned through their mind. It is about them. They're telling you who they are. Oh, you're so dumb. That's because they think they are dumb. Oh, you're so stupid. That's because that's how they believe themselves to be. So you can only, by way of law of gender, project what you are. You cannot plant a watermelon seed and get turnips. So when they plant watermelon coming out of their mouth, what scripture tell you? You'll know each other by your fruit. So how then can they come along and insult you? Look, it has nothing to do with you. It is all them. So now you get to look at that and decide. Do you want to partake in that? No. So move along. Recognize that they're hurting. Recognize that they're hurting. That's what they're showing you. They're showing you their hurt. Now you can silently acknowledge that hurt and simply say, ooh, soothing to you, my sister, soothing to you, my brother. And project soothing. You don't have to speak to anybody to project soothing. Just acknowledging and saying, oh, wow, you really feel that way about me. say that to yourself. You know what? I really would like for you to experience love and move on. Just move on. You see, it has nothing to do with you. So if today your prayer is, I really got to let go of all of this hurt, then acknowledge your pain. Acknowledge it. And recognize that pain causes you to behave in a particular fashion. Don't just look at the pain. Look at what the behavior. Look at the behavior that comes out of the pain. Why? If the behavior causes you to close yourself off and not speak to people, you can do something with that behavior. You can't do anything with pain because it's not telling you anything. What is the behavior associated with the pain? If you say, I'm scared to talk to people, what if they judge me? Now you can do something. Now you can say, I don't want to behave that way anymore. I don't want to cower in the corner anymore. So what do you want to do? You want to walk into a room. You might not want to be the center of attention, but you're not in the corner. You see, the behavior is what you can change. That's why you must acknowledge where you are and what you are doing. It is not enough to say, oh my God, there's so much pain in my life. I acknowledge that there's pain in your life, but what is that pain causing you to behave like? That is your prayer, right there. When you acknowledge what that pain is making you behave like, now you can look at the behavior and say, I would prefer to behave like this. And now you start to behave like it. Yes, you're going to be scared. Come now, who isn't? You're going to be scared. But the prayer has been answered. The moment you do that new behavior, it's going to make you feel a type of way in your body. And remember Dr. Joe Dispenza, a 3-day experiment. He drew their blood before the exercise. And 3 days after meditation, he drew their blood again. And do you know the blood serum changed after 3 days? So think about what happens to you when you examine that old behavior. I tell you, it is not enough to say I am angry or I'm afraid. What is the behavior that you're doing? I cuss people out all the time. Okay, you can work with that. What do you want to do instead? Now your prayer has been answered because you changed the behavior. You change. The law is very practical and hands-on. It likes to get dirty with you. Of course. It doesn't just get dirty with you, it cleans you up too at the same time. That's the beauty of the law. You don't ever have to remain where you are. The minute you acknowledge it, you have prayed. And the minute you change your behavior, the prayer has been answered. You have just turned water into wine. This is what you've done. I am done preaching for the day. I'm done. I am done. Because you know as well as I know, if you stay and I stay, one of us is going to talk. So yeah, that's what I'll tell you today. So take stock. Assess where you are. And as soon as you've acknowledged it, you have prayed. And look at the behavior, not the umbrella. Oh my God, I'm so scared. I'm so angry. I'm so hurt. That's the umbrella. Look at the behavior under the umbrella, because that is what changes. Yes? Apple, sometimes we don't think about the power of declarative statements. It is the difference between proposing to a woman and hearing yes, or receiving the answer, maybe. Yes is the I am statement. You hear how it is? Queen Red Pill says, this is so therapeutic. Now I'm the resident therapist. Listen, the law is what you need it to be. It always is. If you need a shovel, it's a shovel. You need a spoon, it's a spoon. If you need an umbrella, the law is whatever you want it to be. It will see you through. It emboldens you. It gives you courage because it shows you at every turn who you are. And it says, you like that? And if you say no, well then, what would you prefer? And your prayer has been answered when you do it. John Amos. Oh, yes. Oh, snap. Was he in Good Times? I'm trying to remember. Ruby, I'm going to put you on the spot. You will conquer it, or have you conquered it? I'm just asking for a friend. Will you conquer it, or have you conquered it? The moment that you acknowledge where you are and what you are doing, and you choose where you would like to be and what you would like to do, you have conquered. I'm just asking for a friend. You know how these things are. Right? There you go. Yep. I knew it was Good Times. My grandfather's nose was like that too. But that's it, right? I am John Stamos. No. Wrong man. You are a most magnificent person. You truly are. You truly are. And the only thing it takes for you to recognize it is for you to acknowledge that. Not because I'm telling you that you're magnificent. The law tells you that you are. How does the law tell you that you are? It says, as within, so without, as above, so below. What? So whatever you call yourself to be, you are it. Right? That's what it is. Every day. Every day. Let me help you out here a little bit, Miss Ruby. A habit. What is a habit? Do we remember what a habit is? A habit is anything you do the same way every time, whether it be thought, word, or action. So to conquer a habit, you make a new habit so that is the thing. You see, we look at habits as something that we're breaking. We're not breaking. Listen, you don't break them. You make new ones. So where did you point yourself to? Where's your polarity? You pointed yourself in the direction of doing a new thing the same way every time. So if you are doing this new thing the same way every time, then you are successful in the creation of a new habit. Where's the old habit? It is no longer of your concern. Why not? Because you're polarized in making the new habit. So put your attention on the new habit, the new thing that you are doing the same way every time. That is your only focus, nothing else. Don't look at the old thing, because then you're polarized there. What is the new habit? What is the new behavior? Are you becoming consistent in the new behavior? That is where your full direction and attention has to be. You're not conquering an old habit. You are successfully creating a new one. Do you feel the difference between those two things? One of them is heavier than the other. One of them is heavier than the other. To conquer the old habit, you are dragging it with you. But to do the new thing the new way every time is much lighter. It has no weight. You are doing the new. That is the only place your attention need be. That's it. Ruby, does that make sense? You can holler at me and let me know. But that's just, I wasn't yelling. Sometimes if I go on and listen to the playback, I'm like, how do people stick around when I yell so much? Thanks. Anywho, tonight, 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, Facebook, Fanbase, we're going to hit the bowl. Oh, we are going to hit the bowl. That beautiful crystal bowl. Somebody said to me, I told you that bowl was magic. It just does something to you. It is the law of vibration. Everything moves. So remember that blood serum that he drew before they started the exercise and then after they completed the exercise of meditation, and there was the difference? The only thing that changed was the vibration. Their thoughts changed. They just meditated for 3 days, not consecutively, like all 3 days. They had times throughout the day that they meditated. And these were novice meditators, he called them. People who just meditated for shits and giggles, because they were just trying it out. But notice the same way that simple activity has an effect on you. Imagine now, you might not have blood drawn, but you can bet your bottom dollar. I don't know if that's a good thing to say or not. You can bet, Ruby, that when you point yourself in the direction of where you say you're going, your whole body responds. Why? It is law. It is the law of correspondence. As within, you have to see it on the outside. It is also causation, because you are focused. Because you are focused or polarized in the direction of creating the new, your whole body has to respond in kind. Do not think for one moment that you're doing something new and nothing is happening within you. The law tells you otherwise. The law says, as within, so without. So you change that inner attitude, that inner behavior, then the outside has to match. So you are always reinforced of your success. And the bowl has the same effect. It's like a tuning fork. You take a tuning fork and you tap it in a room full of pianos. Every single piano vibrates at the same tone of that tuning fork. So what's happening to you that you can't see? You might not be able to see it. This is why the scripture tells you, when you pray and you believe that you have received it, it is yours. So you might not see your cells vibrating, but you know that they are. Why do you know? Because the law says everything moves. Nothing stands still. So if you play a particular tone that is either faster or slower, you will move to match it. We call that dancing. Everything moves. So now do you understand that you are more than a conqueror? You're a creator. That's what makes you more than a conqueror. You don't just fight things. You choose to create things that don't involve fighting. So you don't have to conquer it. But I digress. I keep saying I'm going to let you go. I feel like the pastor. I won't keep y'all long today. 3 hours later. Listen, I love you guys so much. Iapo says, it has become obvious that however we are thinking, our physical bodies will work to align with that. Yeah. So think about this for a moment. If you catch yourself thinking or doing an unsavory behavior, like, oh my God, you really think that's possible? You know she's full of shit. Ain't nothing gonna change. Look at, you've been trying to change for years and you still the same way. Now, that thought produces a physiological change in your body. But if you say, wait a minute, what does the law say? The law says everybody is moving. Everything is moving. I am moving. All right. I'm moving. Okay, that's good. I am moving. I can begin to feel this now. You know what? I'm going to try an experiment. I'm going to test my hypothesis. I'm going to see. I'm going to just feel good right now. She said if you do a fake smile, that's 17 muscles versus 43 to frown. I'm going to just fake this smile because she says endorphins are released. Fake the smile. The minute you fake the smile, when you lift your cheeks, the minute you lift your cheeks, your endorphins are like, release, open the gates. And you are flooded with endorphins that make you feel good. The body responds in kind. If you're ho-hum in the corner, well, the body responds in kind. And you know that it does. In traditional Chinese medicine, if somebody's been dealing with grief for a very long time, there's a knot in the chest where the lungs are. Because the chi gets knotted up there, it becomes this big ball of unmovable energy because they have not released anything. And so there's 3 needles that you insert. 3, you can do 4. Lung 9, PC 6, heart 7, Ren 17. Those 4 points. If you stimulate them, people will just cry. The needles don't hurt. It's just that the energy that has been stuck, they literally will feel the release. Yes, that's the power of the law. It tells you, as within, so without. That's why you must acknowledge and not try and suppress where you are, because you ain't hurting nobody but you. Anyway, countdown. Initiated. 5, 4. Hey, Lilith. Jeff, darling. Meep. Thank you all for being here on Twitter. You know I love you. I love you very much, Twitter. Thank you all for being here. And I'm sure to hear from you. I'm sure I'll hear from you all today. Much love, Twitter. Much love. Twitter is closed. Fanbase. Lord, I just love you guys. Who's all here? Deborah, give me the sugar. Deborah, I see you. Miss Deborah. Tara Lynn, I see you. Triple S, I see you. 777. Coach Darling, I see you. Flo Smile. Blessings, hello. KZ. Nala? Is that how I say it? And then there's Joyce. Najla.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. I sit corrected. Najla. Beautiful name. Miss McQueen. Yolanda. Zola. I see you all. Thank you for being here. I'll see you tonight if you're available. She says, yes, that bowl. I love that bowl. I do. I mean, I love my Tibetan bowl too, but there's something about that crystal. You put a crystal in a microphone, that's what amplifies sound. So the crystal resonates much more than the Tibetan bowl does. The Tibetan bowl has a lower frequency, but the crystal bowl, it gets in your head, it gets in your heart. Listen, don't take my word for it. If you want to feel it for yourself, you show up tonight, 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to hit that bowl. Yeah? I'll see you tonight, family. I'll see you tonight. Fanbase is closed. Oh, I have a DM. Yes. I'll just respond. All right. Oh, Lord, now. Jesus. Yapo. You're just as bad as this child of mine. How do you catch a unique rabbit? Unique up on it. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. What? I'm going to have to call Angela for you. That is his wife's name, okay? I'm going to have to call Angela. Angela, come get your man. Zola, yes, we can. How do you catch a tame rabbit? Tame way unique upon it. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, oh, this is why I love you, though, because you're awesome. You crack me up. You sure do. Listen, y'all, let's go forth today and remember that the moment you acknowledge where you are, you have prayed. And when you change your behavior, you have answered your prayer. Let's remember that. Shall we? Yes, Sherelle, honey, yes. Indeed. Indeed. Did I turn the volume down from there? I did. There you go. Doobie-doo. You know what? I'm going to like my own video. You know why? Because I can. I just opened up YouTube. Anywho, I see you all. Thank you all for being here this lovely day. And remember the law always. Remember the law always. Now, don't think I forgot y'all. Let me go in here and we're gonna, oh, wait for it. Wait for it.